Hey, how you doing? This is Todd, and a few months ago, I had the pleasure to interview Mr. Bill DeWees. Now, Bill is a very successful voiceover artist and a voiceover career coach from near Cincinnati, Ohio. And in this particular clip, Bill and I discuss how VO Marketing Pro came to be, why Bill joined VO Marketing Pro, and why he thinks being a part of VO Marketing Pro should be a critical part of a voiceover artist's marketing efforts. Enjoy.
Just for a few more minutes, I don't want to take a lot more of your time, but I want to talk just for a few minutes about the business that I started with my sons called VO Marketing Pro, and you're a part of that. And I want to get to that in just a moment. But I wanted to just explain a little bit about how that, came to be. And then we can talk a little bit about your involvement, if that's possible, for the rest of our few minutes together. Bill, a lot of the marketing principles in VOMP, how we built that, were Bill DeWees principles. I think you probably would know that. My kids came to me a couple of years ago and said, "Hey, Dad, if you get run over by a bus, your business is over. Is there anything in your business model that we can reproduce?" And at that point, being 10 years in, we had produced over 18,000 global database of video production companies, ad agencies, voice rosters that I was using with my assistant. And my oldest son, John, said, "Hey, why don't we use that and market to other VO talent?" Well, we had never heard of that. So it was kind of brand new. And it's really only a year old. But we have about 25 clients right now, yourself included. And what we do is we send out direct email marketing messages, short, pithy, informational things with a link or a demo to video production companies and such. And we have some different levels, and I won't go into all the details, but just a brief overview. We have a starter kit now, which is just for people that are starting out and want to get out there doing some direct email marketing. You can choose 25 a month, 50 a month, 75, 100. Then we have what's called the a la carte, which is you can either choose 100 emails a month and one update per year, or 200 emails a month and 2 updates a year to stay in front of those people that you've already sent emails to. And then we have what's called the total care, which really replicates as close as we can to what my assistant Andy does for me. And that's what you have joined VOMP with. And you signed up for VO Marketing Pro maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I guess I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. Why did you do that? I mean, what were the reasons? You've always been doing direct email marketing. It had something to do with Mallory and her change. You mentioned that earlier, right?
Yeah. And if let me give a little backstory, I think will kind of make the picture very clear to people. There's a problem and there's a solution. And the problem, first of all, the direct marketing, in my opinion, can and probably should be the core of marketing for people they got their pro demo, they've got their training, they're ready to go out there and make it happen. The problem is most people are terrified to do it. And a big part, as you know, and what I did and what you did in building your business to a large extent was just really grinding it out through emails and telephone calls. And nobody, I don't know anybody who likes to do cold calls. In other words, calling somebody they don't know and trying to introduce themselves and create an opportunity for business. I'm an introvert by nature. It's not my nature. I don't like to do those things, but I realized at an early age, like when I was 18, I realized that was a skill I needed to force myself to learn. And long story short, I ended up selling books one summer to put myself through college. And I literally knocked on doors by myself in a place far away from my home, 13 and a half hours a day, 6 days a week for an entire summer. It was the worst experience of my life, but it was the best experience of my life because it changed the trajectory of my life. It empowered me to do things that I wasn't comfortable doing, but I knew worked. So that's to kind of, to give you a little bit of the background on it. So when I got into voiceover, I knew that I needed to do that. But as I taught it, most people, I got a lot of pushback. Now, you're one of the few folks who really embraced it and ran with it, and you saw great results. Most people are just, they'll do anything but that.
Yeah.
A lot of people would rather die than do that. I mean, they just don't want to do that. So the solution is having a voiceover marketing pro who says, hey, we'll take care of that part for you. That's amazing. Now, that's not the reason I came to you, because, I've been doing a lot of direct marketing myself, but there comes a time, and I've heard you say something, and it is so true. And hopefully I'll say it right. If not, you can correct me, but it is, you either have more time or you have more money. And if you have more money than time, then you should use your money to leverage what you want to do. But if you have more time, then use your time, do it yourself.
Right.
But in my case, between my voiceover work, which I keep a very busy schedule. Now, granted, COVID has had a negative impact on my business, as it has many businesses. I mean, I'm not out of business. It's not a problem. It's just not as much as I'm accustomed to making. Sure. But now it's on the, it's on the upswing. But I'm still, that being said, I'm still busy. My daughter Mallory has been assisting me for like a dozen years now. But now she's got her own successful career in voiceover, and so she still helps me out. But the hours aren't nearly as much as she used to. So, and plus the voiceover training is a big chunk of my time. So how do I get the work done? That's the question. Well, I'd used a service, started a long time ago called Happy Grasshopper.
Yeah.
Which is really, they're geared toward real estate professionals. That's really what the main thing they do. And I had used them. The messages weren't really geared specifically for voiceover type clients. And frankly, I didn't have the time or inclination to go in and do the editing and all of that stuff. So I just kind of let that go. It had helped some, but I knew it wasn't as effective as it could be. Well, along comes Joe Barsness and his sons and Voiceover Marketing Pro, VOMP. And you guys took that and put it on steroids, targeted directly to voiceover clients.
Yeah.
And my gosh, just have you guys do that. I mean, it's been a godsend. And I told Joe, sign me up for your highest level, whatever it costs, put me in there. I'll take the highest level. And it's great because, you guys are so thorough and meticulous in the work. And also the writing is so good. And the responses that I tell everybody this now, there's hardly a day that goes by that I'm not getting a response from your emails. Now, that doesn't mean everybody's is hiring me. I mean, yeah. For those of us who've done this for a while, you understand there's a process called the sales funnel. And the idea is you put a lot out there into the marketing, in your marketing, and you'll get some response back. But then you have to nurture those people through this funnel, and a few drop out the bottom, who become clients, and some, regular great clients. So we're in that process. And, but, again, just yesterday, I was responding to somebody else who had responded because of work that you guys are doing. So we're building momentum, and I'm really excited about it. And you guys do it so very well, with such great detail and love and care, which is the way it should be done. And so, I could not be happier.
Well, that's great to hear. And I know in one of your live streams yesterday that I happened to be joining, you were doing a custom audition for somebody that Joe had talked with you about, that it had been a direct email, or one of our voiceover roster people. We have a voiceover roster on our website, vomarketingpro.com. And did you, I don't know, did you find out anything?
Well, not yet, because I just submitted the audition yesterday.
Yeah.
But it was cool because, and I got the impression, because of the way the client communicated, usually if they're sending it out to a bunch of people, you're not going to get a personal response back. But if you're the only person or one of a few, they'll take the time to respond. And they took the time to respond to me personally. So I'm really hopeful about that. But they wanted a quote. And so they actually didn't even ask for an audition. They asked for a quote, but they provided the script so I could see it. And one of the things I said during that live stream, because I learned this the hard way, is never, ever pass up an opportunity to provide a sample read. Because early in my career, I had a client once who contacted me as a follow-up. They had narrowed their selection to two people, me and another guy. And they said the other guy submitted a recording. I didn't. And I thought, I will never let that happen again.
Yeah.
So I recorded a sample as well as a quote.
Yeah, those live and learn things that I appreciate, again, about the kind of the raw, here's Bill DeWees doing it. And sometimes you have technical difficulties. Sometimes you have bad clients, which all of us do. Sometimes you flub up. Sometimes you make mistakes. It's just that live streaming thing is really great, along with all of the other stuff that you do.
And I tell people, I've embarrassed myself more times than you could possibly count. Everybody's so terrified they're going to make a mistake. And it's like, believe me, I've made that mistake and many more over and over again. So the thing is, clients want you to succeed. When somebody hires you, they hired you because they like you. They like what you do. You don't have to prove anything. So you do your business, do your thing, keep reaching out, do the auditions. Somebody's going to hire you. And when they do, you're going to love it. It's a great business to be in. I love this work.
Yeah, it is. Well, thanks again. I won't take any more of your time unless you have something, that you'd like to speak to, something to say. I'll leave the last word with you, and then we'll close up here.
Well, and let me just say, and I know you're trying to be careful not to be overly promotional and make this more informational, which I respect and appreciate. But let me just say it for you. For those of you guys, you're at a place now where you've got a little bit of traction, you've got your demos, and you're really ready. You're trying to market yourself, and you're finding it difficult, or maybe just extremely uncomfortable. And that the marketing is the thing that's holding you back. I really strongly encourage you to go to VOmarketingPro.com and or talk with Todd and his sons and find out what they're doing, because man, to have somebody like that on your team, nothing like this has existed before in history for voiceover talent. I mean, seriously, nothing like this. Because believe me, if it had been there, I'd have used it a long time ago. There has been nothing like this before. It is creating opportunities that would be really hard to create otherwise. And that's what, you got to find people who are experts in the areas where you want to succeed and move forward, because we can't do everything super well. And these guys do marketing super well. So I just wanted to make sure I said that.
Now, if you found this interview helpful or interesting, and you want to hear more about how to join VO Marketing Pro, just contact Joe at joebarsness@vomarketingpro.com. That's Joe at joebarsness@vomarketingpro.com. You can also check out our Facebook or YouTube page, or you can visit us at vomarketingpro.com.